Good afternoon. This is Tyler again. Going to talk today about why snakes, for the most part, are harmless. They get a bad rap, and so we're going to talk about why and see if I can change your mind a little bit. First, let me introduce a friend of mine, pet. This right here is Arthur. He is a ball python. He's just under a year old, I believe. Hatched out last September, towards the end of September. But this little fella, like I said, he's a ball python. He's from Africa. He is a constrictor, so he's non-venomous. And this little fella has never once, from the time he hatched, has struck at anybody. He's very docile, makes for a great pet. But snakes in general, most of them are non-venomous. Most of them can be tamed and as docile as this fella can be. Most of the snakes around here, rat snakes, there he goes, little tongue flicker. Rat snakes is most common, I would think, non-venomous snake, and they can't hurt you even if they tried. Most of the time they won't even strike at you, won't bite you, won't mess with you unless you mess with them. It takes me into my first point. There's only two reasons a snake would bite you. One is a defensive bite. If he feels like he is in danger, he's going to strike out at you, and it's just defensive. Same thing if you were backed into a corner and you felt threatened, you're going to try to fight out of there. Same thing with a snake. If they feel threatened, they are going to lash out. The only thing they can do is strike and try to bite you, try to scare you off. The second reason somebody would get bit is that food response. This guy right here, he can eats every week right now. He's still small. He'll end up eating every 2 weeks, but he can actually go a few months without eating and be just fine. He won't even show signs of being hungry. But if I let him go much longer than that, he will start to strike at everything. He's hungry. He's trying to survive. It's not aggressive. He's not trying to hurt me. He's not out to get me. If I let him lay in the bed with me for some reason, he's not going to size me up trying to eat me. Most snakes won't. I'm just too big for him. He knows that, but he also feels safe with me, and I feel safe with him. As long as I'm calm, he's calm. He knows I'm not a threat. I know he's not a threat. So that's most snakes in the wild. As long as you don't mess with them, they're not going to mess with you. They know you're not food. They're not going to come after you. They're not going to, you're sitting there by the lake fishing. They're not going to come after you trying to eat you. It just doesn't happen. So that brings me to my next point: venomous and non-venomous. Arthur here is a constrictor. So when the way he eats his food is he coils around it and constricts it. A venomous snake will actually bite it, inject venom into its prey, wait for it to die, and then goes after it. Even a venomous snake is not going to come out after you. And nowadays there's so much anti-venom is readily available, so even if you do get bit, it's very likely you're going to survive that envenomation. But they don't want to bite you. They, that's how they survive. If they break a fang off in you, if they use up all their venom on you, then they can't eat, and they know that, so they don't bite you. See how docile he is? You can even pet him on top of the head, and he ain't gonna bite. So, my last point is, why kill them? If they can't hurt you, people say the only good snake's a dead snake. That couldn't be more wrong. They're a very important part of the ecosystem, and if you go killing them, they eat a lot of rodents. See? Anyway, they eat a lot of rodents, so they keep that at bay. Um, Let me ask you that if you were sitting there and some dog you didn't know came up to your kid, would you take a shovel, beat them, chop their head off, and then take a picture with it on Facebook? I don't think so. So I don't understand why people do that with snakes. Most of them are harmless. If you see one, if you see one, he's not going to mess with you. Oh, come on. Did you freeze? If you, are you, if you can't get it to go away, then call somebody and they'll come get it for you and relocate it. But the best thing to do is just stay away from it. You see a snake, just don't mess with it. And it'll eventually go about its business. I hope you learned just a little bit. Most of the time snakes are not going to mess with you no matter what. They're not out to get you. They're not going to hurt you. Most of them can't hurt you. And if you learn that, maybe we can all just live a little peacefully. And thanks for listening.